Greetings and aloha, what's going on? It's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com. I thought we'd go for a walk at sunset. I don't know if I've done this before. I did a live stream at sunset, I think, before. In case you guys want to see where I'm staying, this is what 700 baht gets you. AC. Cool fan, actually. I like ceiling fans, but usually I see these in the trains that I take that cost like 6 baht. There's a mirror. And there's a restroom. Shocker, I know. Anyway, hot water. And for 700 baht, it's epic because of this view. So, my hope is that unlike my earlier video, where I burned 3 layers of skin off the bottoms of my feet, it is now 5:40. I'm told the sunset is about 6:30. I didn't look it up. I just took some lady's word for it. And so I thought I would walk a little bit more on that beach and maybe do a little walk and talk. There's a part of me that really wants to use the some of the features of the app on this phone that come with the gimbal that allow me to do like motion photography, which is pretty cool. Time lapse actually is what I'm thinking of, but also motion time lapse. So then it pans, but it also takes like 1 frame a second or something like that. So anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk down here with the idea that once I turn around, by the time I get all the way to there, the sun will be setting. And we can watch it together. We can burn our retinas together. You know what's funny? Well, maybe it's not funny. Maybe it's a revelation. I don't know. Something that just popped into my head. How's that? Nothing more real technical than that. I know you've heard the phrase, yeah, but it would be great to be able to share it with somebody, right? And if you've watched this channel more than 15 minutes, you probably know that I'm an only child and I like only child beach, I like only child resort, I like only child airplane, only child airport. However, the more I come to these places of certainly what I label as beauty, the more I miss Gracie and the more I miss not being able to share this with her, because again, this is the first time I'm here, and in another video I mentioned how we have like different kinds of experiences that Gracie and I have as part of the team, and one of those is things that I experience for the first time and then bring her to. The other kind is things that she experiences for the first time and then brings me to. And then there's the third kind, which I don't know, I think it's probably the most enjoyable, and that's things where we go and we experience it for the first time together. And as I mentioned before, when I go on these jaunts, as I do, one of the things that I do is explore, but the other thing that I do is look at places that, okay, well, I'm not going to do that by myself. I'll wait till Gracie gets here, right? And so a great example of that, for example, was when I was up sort of in the hills, and there was a zip line. And just for me, that's just not something that I want to do by myself. Only child and all, I don't want I just said, no, I'm going to wait for her. And then there's just some other exploring that I just did tonight before coming down here. And I had kind of the same experience. I was just like, this is really cool, but I mean, again, don't get me wrong. I'm never not going to be an only child, okay? So, and if you don't know, I mean, the sort of tongue-in-cheek joke behind all of that is the fact that only children are historically, known for not being able to share real well. And I'm actually like fairly okay with it. I can do it, especially with someone that I really love, So that'll be something that we definitely we do together. is the zip line, as well as many other things. And this is a scenario over here, I think, with basically if you don't touch the rock, then it doesn't count, kind of thing, right? And I am amazed at the amount of, I guess, pleasure that some people must get from a little dog that yaps like that one. Like, I don't understand why you would own one of those. It's like buying a car and the brakes are so screwed up that, like, everywhere you drive it, and just so you know, hold on, I'm gonna touch this so it counts. All right, cool. This is Wang Sai Beach. Haad Mae is also another label for it, and I'll put a link below to where it is, like on Google Maps. But interesting, I was walking down the beach, and some of this may occur before, but I just looked up and it wasn't recording properly. But in any case, the good news is that hopefully what you didn't get a shot of was that annoying yappy little dog back there. I am seeing those two guys behind me there, and then two other guys that jogged past me here on the hard packed sand. They're either, I hope you don't take this the wrong way, they look like wealthy Thais, and I know that may be like, racial profiling or something like that, and if it offends you, I'm really sorry. That's not where I'm going with this. There is a certain look that I've noticed to the wealthier Thais, and those guys look like that. They've got like a little bit of Japanese to their features. Also like the Koreans, so that could be it. But so this is definitely probably my second favorite most part of the day. The most favorite being sunrise, because then it's like, man, I'm starting the day. And if I can get up basically before sunrise and then it comes up, then I feel like I'm getting extra. That's another thing that certainly me as an only child, I like a couple of things. There's a couple of sort of stereotypes I would submit with only children, and one of them is getting everything I want when I want in my own way. The other thing is, again, not being real skilled at sharing things. But the other thing is also getting extra. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's not only children in general. But in any case. So I always feel like Eddie, my buddy, he was posting something on Facebook the other day, and it was relative to him getting up early and being out on the course, because he's a big golfer, loves golf, and he was commenting how he was up so early, and I just responded. I said, oh man, I love getting up. If I get out and the sun has already risen for however long, I feel like I'm wasting daylight. So, you guys like that sound? I like that sound. So earlier today I took a walk basically just down here, and that was that place where I got the massage, and there's that little island down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk on the sandbar-ish thingy and over to that island and look at sunset. I'm really amazed actually that there's not, well, I was going to say I'm really amazed there's not more people down here enjoying sunset. There's a lot of beaches to enjoy sunset at. I was also recently, or like 15 minutes ago, I was on the motorbike and I was up in the mountains. You can't see it like this. Behind those palm trees, there's mountains, I swear. And I was just cruising around up there. This guy that I met, I didn't meet him in the van, but he was in the same van as I was heading to the ferry. Interestingly enough, his name is Van. Great guy, by the way. And he owns a yoga retreat here on Koh Phangan, which is very common. There's about 3 or 4 different, not different, but 3 or 4 common things that I think a lot of people associate Koh Phangan with. The first, arguably, is like the full moon parties. Secondly is yoga retreats and retreat-like resorts that do that sort of thing, spiritual potentially as well. But yoga's huge here. Let me stand up a little bit further. These guys seem to be liking running right on the water line. The other, diving is common here, but also bars, restaurants, and resorts. And not like, you know, restaurants, basically. Restaurants that serve alcohol, not so much as bars. And, you know, it's not like big discotheques here or anything. But, oh yeah, this sand is a lot cooler now. That's pretty cool, actually. It's only like, you know, 3 or 4 hours during the day when it's just unbearable, really. But maybe that'll toughen up my feet. And so Van, his yoga retreat is a empty retreat. He's married to a Thai woman, and she works for a agency. She can work remotely, but she works at an agency such that, and I don't know whether it's a government agency or something like that, but it's a very, it's a well-respected job. Now, I just saw this. Does this look like man-made? Like it's supposed to be like a necklace or something like that, or maybe a wind chime? I mean, it's not a man-made shell, but does it look like they put, I don't know. I'll leave it there though, but anyway, so she's gone to Bangkok because at the end of the day, he shared that she makes more money up there. Right now, especially. And so she can do what she does down here, but if she does it in Bangkok, she makes more money. And he has 0 tenants. I will actually put a link to his resort below. SIRAVANA, I believe, is the name of it. It's on the southwest coast of Koh Phangan, and it is a yoga retreat. And it's probably, I mean, if you had to find it on the map, it's probably about halfway between Wang Sai Pier, where you come in on the ferry, and the Full Moon Party Beach, right? Which a lot of people know, so that's the only reason I use that sort of as a point of interest. So, he shared that basically he's going up there about once a month. Oh, and he got that same AirAsia pass that I did, right? So that's pretty cool. We'll walk on someone's towel. It's funny, I've commented sometimes how like fortunate I feel that it's like 2020, so that if I'm like walking down the beach, basically talking to myself, talking into my hand or talking into my phone, usually I don't get too many crazy looks. They're probably just like, oh yeah, he's like one of those YouTuber guys. He's one of those wildly successful YouTuber guys that gets 1 million views and only makes $100 a month. Thank you, Google. There's a lot of peace that's right here. So the good news is there's not a whole lot of people, so I don't believe that I'm disturbing anyone's real peace, just walking by for a few minutes talking. Not too bad. But yeah, this is definitely one of those paradise moments. This is a place where, had I come here for the first time and been here on vacation and had a plan of leaving approximately 2, 3, if I was lucky, maybe 4 weeks later, but for the most part a couple weeks later, that I would look at this and be like, okay, how is this possible? Then again, I was listening to one of Rob's videos earlier today about how he was, you know, he just cruised down the beach in Phuket, right? And of course he was looking at this beautiful sunset, which I'm about to share with you, hopefully. And he said, you know, some of the guys, and some of you guys have reached out to me in the same way. They're like, dude, just walk down the beach and like show some video, please. And he made the comment, he goes, I guess, I don't know, there's a part of him that thought, you know, oh my God, that's like torture, right? So I get that. But as I've also said before I came to do this, you know, full time, I guess, if you will, before I came to do my hobby full time and be unemployed, I watched guys do this, right? And that was enjoyable because it was like, oh man, that's cool, I'm gonna go there. And this is so goable. This is one of the very common places that people come. Koh Phangan, which is, if you don't know, just directly north of Koh Samui. Now, Koh Samui is, I'm going to label it as overdeveloped. It wasn't, it wasn't unenjoyable. But Koh Phangan, this place is a lot more enjoyable for me. Now again, it's hard to sort of say, well, this is the vibe that it's got. And of course, when you come here, it'll be, this is the COVID vibe. And, it's the only way you get a bungalow on the beach for 700 baht. And what I didn't realize, a lot of people will label July and August, and I'm certainly one of those people, as low season in Thailand. But what I didn't realize is in Koh Phangan, it's actually one of the 2 or 3 different high seasons. The guys that work here that own resorts have told me that first high season is, you might guess, November through March. And then a little bit during Songkran, and then pretty much after that it sort of just dies out for a few months, in the sense that it's less. Every month there's a full moon party that apparently is quite massive. And again, that's sort of what this place is basically known for, and I would submit it's kind of a negative connotation from a guy like me perspective. If you're in your 20s and 30s and you're like, I can fit my life in like 1 or 2 backpacks, excuse me, hello bug, then you might be like, oh man, Koh Phangan is the place for me. Much like, like Ibiza, right? If you guys are really into EDM or anything and you know about EDM, then, Ibiza is like the holy grail of EDM concerts. If you're into going to Electric Daisy, then Ibiza is your fantasy. But not me. Like Electric Daisy Carnival in Vegas, oh my god, man. I think the last one they held it at the Motor Speedway in Vegas. 110,000 people, bus after bus after bus after bus. Naturally plenty, man, there's a really, well, you know what? I did bring my flip-flops with me. And I think I'm gonna have to put them on because there's a lot of shells and my feet are kind of really feeling it, so stand by. Now, of course, the downside is, of course, I'm gonna get shells in between my shoes and this is actually really a place where you want to be with my sneakers, but I thought, oh no, I'll just wear my flip-flop. But the shells are getting in between the flip-flop and the shoe. Regardless, I'm still gonna tough it out for the beauty. I'm gonna sacrifice my body for the game. And we'll walk down the end here, and then on the way back, we'll be able to catch sunset together. How's that sound, my friends? So that was Thai they were speaking. Yeah, this sound here. Well, son! Is that what you guys think when you see that? Or do you just think about FedEx? It's a good movie, right? So I'm not going to do it tonight because I do have my... Let me get some more zoom on that. I'll show you what I'm looking at. I was looking up there at the at that house that effectively, from my perspective, looks abandoned. There's another one right there. I'm not going to do it tonight. So I definitely don't have the climbing shoes for it. That must be a kind of a fun swing to just hang out on. But I definitely want to climb up there and see what's going on there, because that's part of the discovery. See, now that's the kind of thing that I'm like, you know what, I'll do this now that I'm here by myself, because Gracie wouldn't necessarily want to go, searching around abandoned buildings. You actually can't see it over there, so I apologize for the camera lens. It's kind of washed out. But again, the reason, of course, I'm walking here is because I have to touch this, or, say it with me, it doesn't count. So there you go. All right, so now I've walked the beach. So I consider that a success. What do you guys do that you do stuff like that you're like, no, if I do it this way, then it's like a success? Because we all define success differently, right? I mean, for some people, wild success is getting their kids through high school and potentially college unharmed. And they're off to a new career, in their 20s, that sort of thing. For some people, success is their own personal success and really doesn't, part of their family. If their family's successful, then they feel successful too. but it's not a requirement for some other people. For me, I mean, again, if you know me well enough, as you might guess, the baseline of success is I did not drink alcohol or use drugs today. Now, that's not very difficult to accomplish, quite frankly, and I thank Buddha and many other spiritual guides for that wild success. I blame my success on a lot of help from a lot of other people. But, you know, once I've done that, once I've sort of accomplished that, once I have a plan in place for that, then really, I would have to say it's, you know, when I put my head on the pillow at the end of the day, after a sunset, what, have I done anything that potentially caused harm to anybody? And, I'll tell you, man, lately, and by lately I mean in the last decade, thank goodness, there haven't been, I don't think there's been, let's see, in 10 years, I don't think there's been more than 10 times where I'm like, oh my goodness, I really potentially hurt that person, hurt their feelings, or I don't know, maybe I physically bumped into them like walking down the hallway and I didn't apologize for it or something like that. But yeah, that's another thing that makes my day successful. It's like, you know, I certainly didn't do it intentionally, and then, you know, the other thing is, yeah, but I shouldn't have done this. It was just, you know, I wasn't thinking or whatever. You know, I make amends for it, and my definition of amends is not just saying you're sorry, at least for me, not just saying I'm sorry. Yes, I say that. But I also, you know, inquire if there is a behavior that they believe is, you know, detrimental, that sort of thing, and then I do my absolute best, a behavior in me, and then I do my absolute best to, you know, make a commitment or come up with a plan or work with them on it if they're open to it, on a way that I essentially will never do that again, you know. And, you know, that may sound a little esoteric and obtuse, but at the end of the day, basically, it's just, you know, keeping my side of the street clean is another, keeping my side of the isthmus clean, and, you know, just being a decent guy, right? I'll tell you, some of the best advice I ever gave any professional, and sometimes these people were ridiculously professional, like they out-earned me like a 100x. And some of the best advice I gave them, I said, you know, here's how I would recommend you lead your team, Mr. or Mrs. CEO of public company X. Just don't be a jerk. You know, but yeah, and everyone sort of defines what that behavior is like, but usually most people, you know, they will say, oh, okay, yeah, I know what I shouldn't do. Maybe not, but it's sort of a funny thing that popped into my head I thought I'd share. I guess there's something successful too about sunsets. Again, Rob, a friend of mine, right? He was on Bungalow Beach, and he was watching a gorgeous sunset, as we are about to here, and he made the comment like, I should really come and watch these sunsets every single night, kind of thing. And God, how many times have I done something like that? When I moved to Coronado, I thought to myself, I'm going to go catch sunset at the beach every single day. I'm going to go to the beach every single day. Otherwise, why did I spend, you know, all this time, energy, and potentially money to move to this area of San Diego that a lot of people would label one of the best, if not the best, for some people? Why did I do all that, you know, if I'm not going to go to the beach every single day? Well, here it's warm, and it's not warm in San Diego enough for me, enough days in a row. And the ocean, the Pacific near San Diego, is freezing as far as I'm concerned. This, honestly, I went into a pool yesterday and I got out because it was too warm. It wasn't refreshing. We refer to that as a quality problem. when you've got a pool that you didn't pay anything to heat, and it's too warm. And to be fair, like this water here, it's pretty refreshing. It's certainly not cold. And that's what I loved about Maui, actually, and the Keys for that. I mean, any place tropical, really, is that, you know, you go into the ocean, it's like, yeah, it's refreshing, but it feels so good, you know. So I don't have the ability I mean, I'm not a dumb engineer, but I don't have the ability to look at that and say, oh yes, it's at 4 degrees above the horizon, therefore there must be 19 minutes left before. I don't have the ability to do that, but I'm gonna actually, hold on, I can check. Oh, it's 6:05. So I think sunset is 6:30-ish. So we're about 20 minutes away. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cruise down here. I'll do some time lapse on one of those massive rope swings. That, yeah. What would be neat is if I could do it like through the tire swing, but I'm not that photographically sophisticated. But yeah, I think one of those swings is definitely where we're gonna hang out and end the day, and then at least from my perspective, label it wildly successful. So with that, I'll probably cut my little walk and talk thing here. Nothing really earth-shattering, but I always wanted to check in with you guys. I considered doing a live stream, but I realized that at 6 p.m. here, while it is 7 a.m. on the East Coast, and there are some people getting up for their Tuesday morning. And then I also have, a lot of buddies in Australia. So right now it's about 9 p.m. there in Sydney. And I believe that means it's 7 p.m. We're at Perth, maybe? I can't remember where the other guys live. I don't think it's Perth. I apologize. I'm not good with memories of that sort of thing. But it is definitely 4 a.m. on the West Coast. And so, anyway. Oh, we got a video dropping tonight at 9 p.m. You'll see this at a time where this isn't really relevant, but I just thought of it. So 9 p.m. Bangkok time. 10 a.m. East, 7 a.m. West Coast. The Bangkok Strange is going to drop on a multitude of platforms, not the least of which, of course, is iTunes and wherever you guys get podcasts, but also on YouTube, on the channel Bangkok Strange. So go to YouTube, type in Bangkok Strange. I would highly appreciate your subscription. Click the bell. And if you like it, like it. If you dislike it, send me or Dana an email, bangkokstrange@gmail.com, and let us know what you think we can do better. The first one really is just sort of us chatting, saying, hey, here's who we are. And I sort of refer to it as season 2, only because the first season really was, how it got successful, which is with, Dana and Woody. And now Woody's, working offshore, so he doesn't have the ability to do the podcast. So I'm honored to be the co-host of Bangkok Strange. So anyway, so check that out. And with that, it's Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com saying I hope you're living the dream, because if you're not living the dream, there's a high likelihood that no matter where you are in the world, you had the ability to go see a sunset. And for some reason, you just didn't make it a priority. And I'm going to tell you, I get a lot of feelings of success by being able to watch a sunset. So with that, I hope you guys go catch a sunset. And I'll talk to you soon. Ciao.